Golf's gone off the rails. What used to be all country clubs, polite claps, and firm handshakes has turned into money fights, wild egos, and nonstop drama. The Saudi-backed LIV Tour didn't just divide golf, it detonated it.
I asked the question this morning to another player, why didn't he play Phoenix and why is he not playing here? He's never missed these. I'm surprised he didn't play. I don't know. I don't know what Phil's doing. I know Phil's got a lot of stress in life right now. And, I don't know what...
The players behind it turned calm greens into a full-blown battlefield. And right in the middle of the storm, Phil Mickelson, the man who can't resist stirring the pot. Every time the so-called golf civil war between LIV and the PGA Tour starts to quiet down, Phil pops back up with a spark in his hand. It's October 2025, and once again his name's trending for all the wrong, or maybe the right reasons, depending who you ask. His latest move? A smug, fake deep social post claiming PGA fans are way more stressed than LIV fans. That tweet oozed arrogance and classic Mickelson flair, slick words wrapped in smug energy. It exploded online like a rogue tee shot straight into the stands. Within hours, analysts were accusing him of rewriting golf's history books. Sponsors were groaning in disbelief, and golf Twitter turned into an all-out war zone. When Phil talks, golf catches fire, and he looks like he enjoys watching it burn. But this ain't his first blaze. Back in 2022, Phil sparked the original explosion that tore golf in half. In that now legendary interview, he slammed the PGA as obnoxiously greedy, hinted at buried scandals, and called out what he saw as deep corruption. The backlash was instant. Sponsors dropped him like a bad drive off the first tee. The media tore him apart, shredding what was left of his golden boy image. The PGA practically scrubbed his name from every polite golf convo, like he never existed. For months, Mickelson drifted through the wreckage, a fallen icon haunting the fairways he once ruled. But when LIV came knocking with Saudi billions and promises of player freedom, that ghost came roaring back to life. The exile turned into the ultimate opportunist, cashing in while rewriting his own legend. Now at 55, Phil's not begging for forgiveness, he's demanding the spotlight. His new sermon? LIV is the gospel of golf. He preaches it like salvation, calling the shorter schedule life-saving, and the chill crowd's the real soul of the sport. Meanwhile, he trashes the PGA as a burnout factory built for the desperate. This isn't just competition anymore, it's a full-blown belief system. And Mickelson's out here preaching like it's Sunday Mass. But behind that trademark grin, the cracks are showing. His 2025 season's been a wild seesaw of triumphs and train wrecks. A few solid runs in Miami and Hong Kong, followed by ugly early exits and whispers that the legend's losing his edge. The gambling rumors? Still swirling like cigar smoke he can't wave away. And his loud defense of LIV's Saudi money? It's only made the split uglier. But somehow Phil lives for the madness. He's mentoring LIV's new blood, sparring with critics online and turning every scandal into a victory speech. Whether you think he's a hero or a hustler, one thing's clear, Phil Mickelson refuses to disappear. He's golf's loudest outlaw, part mastermind, part troublemaker, shaking up a sport built on silence, and he's not shutting up anytime soon. Patrick Reed, the human hurricane of golf.
A pure test out there. I mean, if you hit a poor golf shot, you'd struggle and kind of have to figure out a way to try to make par, but if you hit quality golf shots, you're rewarded around this place. And unfortunately, I honestly felt like I hit a lot of quality golf shots. The putter was flat, and I didn't really make anything today besides hitting it close there on the first hole. And
if Phil Mickelson's the philosopher of LIV, then Reed's the storm tearing through every fairway. Wild, relentless, and flat-out impossible to ignore. Once celebrated as Captain America, he's now fully embraced his new title, Captain Controversy. And in 2025, his life's still playing out like the wildest sports soap opera on earth. Reed's story feels like Shakespeare rewritten for the internet era. Pure talent tangled in scandal, defiance leading straight to downfall, and a hero who morphed into golf's ultimate villain, but refuses to quit swinging. His name's been dragged through every mess you can think of, from sand-moving accusations to shady rule calls, cold-blooded locker room feuds, and lawsuits fired at journalists who dare to question his so-called honor. But this year, Patrick Reed's armor finally cracked, and for once the firebrand broke down in tears. In a raw October 25th interview, he opened up about something that hit way deeper than golf. His kids being bullied at school, mocked as cheaters' kids. The moment was gut-wrenching, almost tragic, as the man who's always swung back suddenly looked cornered by his own past. For a split second, people saw Patrick not as the villain, but as a dad trying to protect his family. But that sympathy, gone in a flash. The internet showed no mercy, flooding him with cold memes, play cleaner, cry less. One brutal comment read, his heartbreak was real, but so was his rage. Reed fired back, blaming the media for turning golf's so-called gentleman's game into a click-chasing witch hunt, accusing reporters of twisting every story just to keep him cast as the bad guy. Even while raging against the system, Reed couldn't help himself. He had to toss more gasoline on the flames. After snagging a dramatic win at LIV Dallas in June, his first big victory since ditching the PGA, he couldn't just celebrate quietly. He taunted PGA loyalists, sneering that they were haters stuck in 2019. The crowd booed loud enough to shake the fairways, and Reed? He just grinned like he'd hit the drive of his life. It was straight-up theater, pure chaotic entertainment. His defiance has turned into an art form, his hate for approval so fierce it's almost admirable. But when he claimed Ryder Cup players shouldn't get paid because pride should be enough, what he thought sounded noble dropped like a bomb. Critics rolled their eyes, fans went to war online, and Reed once again proved calm just isn't in his vocabulary. But the scoreboard doesn't lie. Patrick Reed is back to winning. His hole-in-one in Adelaide blew up online, clips racking up millions as even his haters couldn't look away. His aggression on the course is electric, reckless, raw, and impossible to ignore. Yet behind the viral moments sits a man trapped inside his own reputation. LIV's no-cut setup shields him from humiliation but also from redemption. He's rich, distant, and still one of the most fascinating villains golf's ever seen. Patrick Reed might never wash the stain off his name, and maybe he's fine with that. In a sport obsessed with clean etiquette and polite claps, he is the chaos that keeps it alive. And the wild part, he knows it. Now enter Sergio Garcia, golf's eternal emotional wildfire. Brilliant, explosive, unpredictable. For 2 decades, he was Europe's heartbeat, the fiery Spaniard who turned the Ryder Cup into his own personal drama stage.
Not, obviously, you would say why. I mean, you finished 27th. Not only because of that, I felt like I played well, but more than anything because I gained a friend back. You know, a friend that I kind of felt like I lost in the last year or so. You know, we talked and we had a great conversation, and I feel like I have that friend back, and that to me means a lot.
But in 2025, that fiery spirit is running on something darker. Pure frustration. His latest meltdown? Getting snubbed from the 2025 Ryder Cup team. And it didn't just sting. It exploded. What should have been a quiet roster decision turned into a worldwide headline, tearing open the old fault line between LIV Golf and the loyalists still clinging to tradition. For Sergio, it wasn't just about missing out, it was about feeling betrayed. Once Europe's golden boy, he now walks like golf's forgotten son. His jump to LIV back in 2022 didn't just cost him his reputation, it stripped him of his soul in the eyes of purists who once worshipped his fire. When Captain Luke Donald revealed the Bethpage Black lineup without his name, the silence from Sergio's camp said it all, louder than any press statement could. Then came his sudden withdrawal from the Irish Open, a so-called personal decision that everyone saw for what it was, a protest in disguise. It played out like a slow-motion tantrum, the veteran's version of snapping a club mid-round. Critics called him dramatic, and fans split right down the middle, passionate or pathetic depending who you asked. But behind those fiery explosions lives a story soaked in heartbreak. The same emotion that once made Sergio golf's most electrifying showman has now turned into his isolation chamber. The 2017 Masters champ who once cried tears of joy at Augusta now sheds quieter ones during interviews, haunted by the game that both made him and broke him. Talking about unfinished business. Sergio's out here rewriting his own script. He's been tweaking his swing, grinding through endless practice sessions, and even flirting with Q School again. A humbling sight for a man who once ruled the game. But that stubborn fire, that refusal to fade quietly into the past, that's pure Sergio energy. Among LIV loyalists, he's treated like a hero, the face of passion over politics, a mentor who wears his heart on his sleeve. They call him the league's emotional backbone, the one who never sold out his fire. But to the PGA faithful, he's the warning sign, proof of what happens when ego outweighs legacy. To them, Sergio's downfall isn't a tragedy, it's karma. Still, even they can't deny it. There's something poetic, almost haunting about the way he's falling. The man who once played with pure heart now faces whispers that he's lost his honor. Every slammed club, every emotional press conference, every sarcastic jab at the golf establishment, it's the sound of a man still swinging at the ghosts of his own fading relevance. The Ryder Cup may never come calling again, but don't get it twisted. Sergio Garcia isn't going quietly. He'll keep shouting into golf's cold, divided night, demanding the respect he swears he's still earned. And now, Henrik Stenson. Once the ice-cold Swede who ruled Europe's Ryder Cup dreams with surgical precision, Stenson now stands on golf's frozen edge, exiled, demoted, and hauntingly quiet. In 2025, the man once nicknamed the Iceman hasn't just cooled, he's melted into something darker, lonelier. A legend, iced out by the very game he mastered. LIV Golf dropped the hammer in August. Hard. The league announced that Henrik Stenson and fellow struggler Mito Pereira were being relegated after a string of flat-out miserable performances. Even the most cynical fans couldn't believe it. Henrik Stenson, the 2016 Open champion, the cool, composed perfectionist, now out of a job? The headline sounded like satire, but it wasn't. It was heartbreak in real time. Stenson's fall didn't happen in one swing. It was a slow, painful unraveling of a legend. When he joined LIV back in 2022, he knew the cost, his Ryder Cup captaincy, his spotless image, his place among Europe's elite. The announcement hit like an earthquake back then. One of golf's classiest, most respected players walking away from tradition for Saudi millions. It's a business decision, he said. Cool, calm, and classic Stenson. But behind that calm tone, a storm was brewing. One that would quietly drown his career. The man once known for pinpoint precision started missing cuts, losing confidence, and worst of all, losing relevance. By 2025, the message couldn't have been clearer. The fairy tale was over. LIV's so-called ruthless meritocracy, marketed as innovation but run like reality TV, had no room for nostalgia. When Stenson's name popped up on the relegation list, the internet exploded. Commentators called it cold, fans called it karma, and Stenson, he stayed iced to the end. At his farewell press conference, he sat behind the mic in a crisp suit, stoic, polished, and heartbreakingly aware that the game had moved on without him. His voice steady, his eyes far away. "It's been a journey," he murmured softly, the words barely leaving his lips. But everyone in the room could feel it, that quiet heartbreak hiding behind his calm. The real translation, it wasn't supposed to end like this. Critics wasted no time slamming LIV, accusing the league of chewing up and spitting out its own stars, proof that in this new empire, loyalty and rebellion both have expiration dates. Stenson's sin wasn't arrogance or scandal, it was mediocrity. And in LIV's spectacle-driven circuit, mediocrity is the only unforgivable crime. Still, fans rallied for him, sensing something rare, dignity in defeat. While Mickelson's out tweeting his next manifesto, and Reed's busy turning chaos into headlines, Stenson's walking away quietly, holding on to the same grace that once made him one of golf's most respected gentlemen. Now at 49, Henrik Stenson faces the unthinkable, irrelevance. The real tragedy isn't that he fell, it's that he fell in silence. No tantrums, no scandals, no viral blow-ups, just a legend quietly fading into the frost. And in today's golf world, where noise gets rewarded more than nobility, that silence might just be the loudest statement of them all. And speaking of loud, enter Ian Poulter. If golf had a comment section, his name would be pinned right at the top. The self-proclaimed people's golfer has turned his social media into a non-stop spectacle. Part confession booth, part cage match. At 49, he's still swinging, still ranting, and still raging against the golf establishment, modern tech, and sometimes even gravity itself. 2025 hasn't cooled him down one bit, it's only made him louder. Poulter isn't chasing trophies anymore, he's fighting for relevance. And in the cruelest twist imaginable, the very league he once defended with every fiber of his flashy tartan wardrobe, LIV Golf, is now threatening to relegate him. It's the newest plot twist in Poulter's never-ending drama saga. The once dapper Ryder Cup hero turned full-time keyboard warrior. Back in his prime, Poulter was golf's rock star showman. Spiked hair, wild pants, and an ego big enough to fill Augusta. Fans lived for his Ryder Cup fire, those iconic screams and fist pumps that dragged Europe back from the edge. But now, that same fiery passion, it's burning online instead. Unleashed on X and Twitter, where his swing's been replaced by savage posts and clapbacks that hit just as hard. These days, it feels less like passion, and more like a desperate grab for attention. When Poulter fired off the tweet, golf's lost its soul. Thank God for LIV. Back in July 2025, even his own LIV teammates reportedly cringed. The internet clapped back instantly. "You mean you sold yours?" One fan snapped. But Poulter didn't flinch. He never does. He feeds off outrage, quote-tweeting haters with sarcastic jabs, fire memes, and that signature smirk that's half confidence, half chaos. For him, every online spat's a match play duel, and he refuses to concede a single hole. But out on the course, the numbers tell a colder truth. His once razor-sharp iron play's gone dull, and his Fireballs GC team, co-captained with Sergio Garcia, is sliding toward the bottom of LIV standings. Rumors are swirling about retirement, but Poulter just laughs it off. "They've been writing me off since 2004. He scoffs, still swinging, still talking, still refusing to fade. He snapped after a rough finish in Singapore, shades on, jaw tight, hiding that flash of frustration behind his trademark smirk. "I'm not done yet," he muttered. But that defiance? It's starting to feel heavier now. The same bold confidence that once made him golf's lovable villain now reads more like stubbornness. Poulter's stuck between two worlds, too old for the new wave, too wild for the old guard. The PGA wants nothing to do with him, and LIV might be next to show him the door. His online outbursts only keep the circus spinning, but deep down, that's exactly where he thrives. Ian Poulter doesn't need a leaderboard to matter. He already owns the comment section. In a sport built on whispering and etiquette, he's the loudest echo standing, golf's last true showman in the age of social media. Love him or loathe him, Poulter proves one brutal truth. In 2025, noise is legacy. And speaking of noise, here comes Bryson DeChambeau. The so-called mad scientist of golf isn't just playing the game, he's dissecting it. Every round's a lab test. Every swing's an equation. Bryson doesn't step onto the course. he steps into an experiment with a $125 million budget backing him up. In 2025, Bryson's more than a golfer. He's a walking science project with a driver. His YouTube empire's booming, filled with slow-motion swing analyses, body mechanics charts, and wild titles like Why Traditional Golf is Wrong About Physics. He's turned the fairways into his laboratory and the internet into his stadium. For Bryson, it's not just about trophies anymore, it's about data, drama, and total digital domination. But even science can't shield Bryson from scandal. In October, he sent golf purists into full meltdown mode after boldly declaring that LIV Golf was the future of physics-based competition. The statement, equal parts ego and engineering, exploded across the internet. PGA loyalists lost it, roasting him nonstop online. He's not playing golf, one analyst snapped. He's playing Minecraft with real clubs. But Bryson, he doesn't flinch. He thrives under fire. When people call him arrogant, he shrugs and calls it confidence. When they question his integrity, he fights back with geometry. Every swing, every quote, every viral clip, it's all part of his formula for staying one step ahead and 10 times louder. Bryson's turned arrogance into performance art, a full-blown spectacle that LIV Golf can't get enough of. But for all his formulas and calculations, the math doesn't always add up. His T2 finish at Greenbrier in June looked promising until it got buried under the chaos of a shankfest at LIV Nashville that went viral for all the wrong reasons. Fans turned it into a TikTok dance trend, remixing his swings with beats, while his epic facepalm reaction became meme gold. But Bryson, ever the opportunist, just grinned and rolled with it. Every miss is data, he joked, turning embarrassment into analytics. That's Bryson in a nutshell, both ridiculous and brilliant, the kind of athlete who treats humiliation like free advertising. Off the course, his self-awareness borders on genius. Chaos is his brand, and business is booming. Bryson DeChambeau has gone full showman mode. He's live streaming practice sessions, arguing with fans about golf and physics, and posting drone shots of his drives like they're NASA launches. His audience, millions strong. His approval rating with golf's traditional crowd, practically zero. But Bryson couldn't care less. He's not chasing world ranking points anymore, he's chasing engagement. In a sport built on whispers and handshakes, Bryson's brought chaos, content, and clicks, and the numbers keep climbing. Still, behind all the equations and ego, there's a hint of something deeper, a quiet ache he'll never admit. Deep down, Bryson misses the majors, the roars from the crowds, the validation and respect that used to come with it. His favorite line, innovation over politics, sounds bold on camera, but when you really listen, it hits more like self-defense than conviction. Bryson's built a whole new kind of fame, one powered by algorithms, not trophies. Even his biggest haters have to admit it. Golf hasn't been this entertaining in years. Whether he's breaking down swing planes or psychoanalyzing himself mid-round, Bryson DeChambeau has mastered one skill better than anyone else, staying absolutely impossible to ignore. And then there's Dustin Johnson, the anti-Bryson. He doesn't yell, doesn't rant, doesn't need to. When he ditched the PGA for a mind-blowing $150 million LIV deal, he let the number do the talking. No dramatic statements, no teary interviews, just that classic DJ shrug and the half-smile that says, "Yeah, I did it." In a world where Phil Mickelson tweets like a philosopher and Ian Poulter live tweets his meltdowns, Dustin's silence hits harder than any speech. DJ's silence was deafening. His betrayal didn't explode, it echoed. Fast forward to 2025, and Dustin Johnson remains the great mystery of LIV Golf, the calm eye in a hurricane of chaos. His swing, still hypnotic. His demeanor, still pure ice. But something shifted. The man who once ruled the world rankings now plays on a tour that doesn't even have them. The same guy who used to crush majors is now battling for team points and digital trophies. Even his wife, Paulina Gretzky, can't distract from the quiet fate of his spotlight. The photos still sparkle, the yachts still shimmer, but the glory? It's gone missing. Yet under that cool exterior, insiders whisper that DJ's no ordinary player. He's LIV's silent power broker, the calm face masking a whole lot of behind-the-scenes influence. He's become a shadow executive, the quiet power behind the curtain. As captain of the Four Aces GC, Dustin Johnson reportedly settles disputes, shapes team rosters, and even has a say in how LIV structures its limited field events. In a league fueled by oversized egos and loud personalities, DJ's lack of one has somehow become his greatest weapon. He doesn't need to raise his voice, he just walks in, and the whole room shifts. But after a while, even silence starts speaking for itself. While his peers rant about Ryder Cups and ranking points, Johnson's cool disinterest is starting to look more like detachment. Fans once worshipped his effortless dominance, the man who made golf look easy, who made victory look accidental. Now they're starting to wonder if he even cares anymore. His last LIV win, way back in early 2024, barely made a ripple online. The celebrations looked staged, the champagne tasted flat. Even the smiles felt tired. Behind the scenes, whispers say DJ's patience is wearing thin. He's quietly fuming over LIV's lack of world ranking recognition, but way too proud to ever say it out loud. When asked in August if he missed the majors, his reply was classic Dustin. They'll miss me more. Cool, quippable, and completely empty. Dustin Johnson may have chosen the quiet route, but silence doesn't always mean peace. In LIV's carnival of chaos, where controversy sells faster than skill, his calm now reads more like surrender. The man who once defined golf's golden era has become its wandering ghost, floating through a league he helped make legitimate and watching the spotlight he built slowly fade into tragedy. He got everything he wanted, and somehow it still wasn't enough. Enter Taylor Gooch. No one in golf flexes harder. The 33-year-old has turned confidence into a full-contact sport, and in 2025, he's owning it. Once brushed off as that guy who chased the money early, the Oklahoma native now struts through LIV Golf like he built the place himself. Every swing, every smirk, every carefully slow-motion highlight feels like a performance, a statement that screams, "I'm the headline now." Humility, long gone. Gooch traded it for swagger, and honestly, he's earned the right. With 3 LIV titles in 2024 and multiple top 5 finishes this season, the man's got the stats to back up the talk and the attitude to make sure no one forgets it. His swing is so smooth it makes even his haters clench their jaws. But Gooch's problem isn't his game, it's his ego. He doesn't just think he deserves a seat at golf's top table. He thinks he is the table. That confidence hit a whole new level in February 2025, when during a press conference, he said with a straight face, "I'd rather win a LIV title than a PGA major." The golf world lost it. Twitter blew up, fans and analysts lost their minds, and Gooch, he just grinned. Critics called him delusional. Supporters called him fearless. And honestly, both might be right. When he doubled down, calling the majors embarrassing for shutting out LIV players, the backlash hit like a tidal wave. But the man didn't blink once. You can't disrespect tradition, one analyst warned. But Gooch didn't blink. Tradition disrespected us first, he snapped, turning golf's most buttoned-up sport into a full-blown mic drop moment. That one-liner became everything. A meme, a mantra, and a middle finger rolled into one. But behind all that swagger lies something deeper. Gooch isn't just cocky. He's the symbol of golf's generational rebellion. He's the new prototype. Young, digital, unfiltered. While guys like Phil and DJ act as the elder statesman, Gooch is the algorithm's favorite golfer. Every quote, every smirk, every clip becomes instant content. LIV execs can't get enough of him, and golf purists can't stand him. But either way, everyone's watching. Still, that kind of confidence comes with a price. Every bold statement paints a bigger target on his back. Every tweet he posts sparks another avalanche of mockery. The majors may shut him out, but deep down they still haunt him, because no matter how loud his bravado gets, Gooch can't escape the truth. Only the Masters or the Open can crown real legitimacy. He'll never admit that, of course, not while there's another camera in his face. Taylor Gooch doesn't wait for validation. He creates it, wraps it up in swagger, and sells it right back to the fans who doubt him. Whether he's golf's bold new future or its flashiest cautionary tale, one thing's clear, Gooch isn't chasing acceptance anymore. He's chasing immortality on his own terms. From Mickelson's rebellion to Gooch's arrogance, LIV Golf isn't just a league, it's gladiator theater. A wild stage where ego, money, and legacy collide under the brightest lights the sport's ever seen. Every swing comes with a scandal. Every victory earns a side eye. These aren't just golfers anymore, they're disruptors, rebels, and walking cautionary tales wrapped in luxury sponsorships. In 2025, the fairways might be quieter, but the drama, louder than ever. If you made it this far, make sure to drop a like. Subscribe to Golf Swing for more wild golf stories, share this with your crew, and hit the comments. Who's the real villain of LIV Golf? I'll see you in the next one.